Our collection is based on family. We started off 30 years ago when I purchased a piece for my wife when she graduated from Clark. That piece was an Ernie Barnes piece called The Graduate. My mom actually gave me the money to buy the piece. So I was able to afford this nice print. The print was gifted to her, and she hung it actually in her apartment off of People Street here in Atlanta. That began our collection. It was one of the pieces that as I went to dental school and I went to residency, it traveled with us and it became our first piece of art. So when people would come to our house and they'd be like, hey, this is nice. We have a piece of art that we could show them.
When the good doctor and I were dating, we fell in love with going to the National Black Arts Festival. So we always would say to ourselves that when we're in a place that we're able to collect art, we will. People see these major cities as art hubs, New York and Chicago and LA. But Atlanta has so much beautiful art and so many talented artists. And the one thing that Dameon and I have talked about throughout our art journey is supporting our local artists, also cultivating relationships with emerging artists. By him being from Texas, born and raised, and me being from Florida, that collecting from the southeastern region just kind of speaks to who we are as people, as our family. And talking about family, the southeastern region just speaks to that.
As I look over your shoulder, I see a picture of my grandmother and my grandfather sitting in their yard in Texas. That legacy that they actually left was something that will always be with me. It gives me a lot of pride. It gives me a lot of strength on my tough days. That storytelling is something that they did, and they did it in a very, nurturing way. These pieces of art are telling stories of our past, and they're doing it, in a descriptive way. It's important for us to understand the value of these pieces because we really want to be able to share with all the visitors who come, to our home and that we come along and we share pieces with, to pass on those stories. If the artist in our, meeting that artist and getting to know that person, we understand their personality, we like to tell the story the way they told the story.
Telling a story and documenting history, if you think back to, the motherland, you think back to Africa, that's exactly what we did as a people. We use cowrie shells, we use found objects, we use rugs, songs, poems, and all of these different things to not only communicate, but to document our history, our lineage, So art is so important because it does, just as a photograph. Your parent takes a photograph of you at each and every stage of your life. It just kind of marks the moment in terms of, this is what I was doing in the first grade, and now I'm in the 12th grade, and just the period of growth in between those times.
The time that we came to Atlanta, it was during the Cosby era.
Ah, that's a good point. Yep.
So, we were on campus, and on Thursday nights, we would all gather around a TV somewhere in the dorm, and we would watch the Cosby Show. And the Cosby Show was doing a fantastic job of shaping the lens of how people saw the Black family.
Absolutely.
In its portrayal of a lot of different important Black subjects on that show, they talked about, our professionals in our community. They talked about our politicians in our community. They introduced education on some of those shows. But they did a wonderful job of including the arts. The message that came out of it was either a message, of pride, because they were highlighting the Black family. It was a message of beauty, and it was a message of creativity. Those were the messages that I got from those moments. In an ideal world, I think that this collection will be, maybe twice as large. It'll still have the same theme, of course. It will hopefully have more impact on our community You know, we will hopefully go back to our alma mater or within that AUC center to somehow make a connection to allow the children who are there in school right now to visit the collection. That is our goal. We would love that to be the case. And to be able to share that, you know, those same hallways and dormitories that they are in, and they're, you know, they're having their own experiences. We were there at one point. This has been our journey. Maybe someone will have a connection with our journey and they will become the next collector. They will be the next Dameon and Kim.
And for someone to be able to say, my gosh, you know, they started off with a print and now they've amassed, you know, over 300 pieces of art, you know, that is, I think that's a true legacy. Yeah.